Hi, in this video we're going to have a look at what a function is. So functions are basically things that do things. So they help us to create objects and run analyses when we're using R. And at a kind of straightforward level, a function is just something that takes some inputs, so it takes some information in and it uses that information to produce something. So you can think of it a bit like baking a cake, where the function is kind of the oven. So your inputs are like your ingredients, so maybe some flour, sugar, lemon, eggs, you mix them up, put them into a pan. You then put those ingredients or those instructions into the function, the oven, and then the function does some magic with them. And the exact magic that it does depends on the function. And what comes out is a lovely output. So it does something with what you put in and produces something for you. In the bakery example, a beautiful lemon cake. Now, obviously, using functions in R is nowhere near as nice as baking a lemon cake or indeed eating one. But the same principle applies. A function is something that does something, creates something. We have some inputs, some stuff we put into the function. We have outputs from the function. Now, what can the outputs be? Now, sadly, not a lemon cake. But it can be pretty much anything, within the R environment. It could be a data frame or a tibble. It could be a single value. It could be multiple values. It could be a list of values. It could be a statistical model. It could be a plot. It could be a table. It could be a collection of all sorts of things, a plot, a table, some individual values. So there's no sort of, there's no single thing that can be outputted from a function. Many functions output several things. Anyway. What do functions look like? They all have a really common syntax, which is they'll have a name. So in my rather inventive example here, I've called my function name of function. And then it will have some brackets. And within those brackets are the kind of the inputs of the function, but their technical name is the arguments of the function. You can also think of them like options. We'll come on to that in a minute. But essentially, within the brackets, we tell the function what to do. We sort of set some instructions for it. So it's a bit like setting the temperature on your oven to be the right level. And as we've seen in another video, we can use the assignment operator to store the outputs of our function. So if we don't do this, what will happen by default when we use a function? R will print the output of the function. But if we want to actually capture it and store it and maybe use it later, we use the assignment operator. So you might name the stuff that you want to save. I've called it here stuff I want to store. You then use the assignment operator, the little arrow thing, and then you have your function and the instructions that tell R how to create the thing that you're trying to save. Now, I think functions are quite confusing if you are not used to programming, and if you have spent most of your life using dialog boxes, looking at a function and trying to use R and thinking, oh, well, I have to type stuff out. That seems really laborious and probably tedious compared to clicking on dialog boxes. But I think it can be quite useful to draw a parallel between functions and dialog boxes, because most people are familiar with using dialog boxes. And actually, when we use a function, we're kind of doing the same thing, just without the pretty picture in front of us. So we're going to have a look at a function which calculates the mean. And the name of that function is mean. This is built into R, so we can just use it sort of out of the box. And if we wanted to use the mean function, basically, we would, if we want to store the mean, we'd have to give it a name. So I've given it the name of the mean, then the assignment operator. And then everything on the right-hand side of that arrow is the function, the mean. And we can think of everything on the right-hand side as being like a dialog box. So imagine if you choose your favorite statistical app, you might see a dialog box a bit like this. A dialog box has a name, mean, like the function has a name. And then you might be used to having, say, a list of the variables that you want to use and an area where you can drag a variable. So we could perhaps drag energy up to there. You also might be quite familiar with there being sort of options. So, for example, there might be an option to remove missing values before calculating the mean. And maybe you want to produce a mean where you've trimmed off extreme values. So there might be some kind of option in your dialog box where you can say, well, I want to get rid of the top on the bottom 10% of scores or something. So there might be somewhere where you can type a value in. So this is all quite familiar stuff, and this is exactly what happens in a function. So a function has arguments, and these arguments map on to sort of options in a dialog box. So in the case of the mean, we need to specify the variable that we want to compute the mean on, just like we do in our dialog box. We've got an option for removing missing values, just like we do in our dialog box. And we've got an option for trimming values from the data before calculating the mean, just like in our dialog box. So for example, now we've got the dialog box we just had up, and we've got the literal equivalent of the R function if it were a dialog box. So its name doesn't have a nice capital letter now, it's all lowercase. Instead of variable, in the function, we just have x. It's just denoted by x. The variable we want to calculate the mean of is just x. We tell it x is equal to, and then whatever we would have dragged into here. Our removing missing values thing is just abbreviated to NARM, which is basically, it's just shorter to type. So it's shorter to type na.rm than it is to type remove missing values. And with trim, rather than having a helpful instruction, trim mean proportion, it's just, again, abbreviated to trim. And a lot of this is just, these arguments are things we've got to type in. So people who write functions tend to keep the arguments sort of short and sweet because, it saves you typing. But the basic principle is the same. So if we were using this dialog box, well, we might say we want the mean of energy scores. So this is a variable called energy. So we drag that up here if this were a dialog box. And we might say, well, we don't want to move missing values, so we'll leave this box unchecked. And we might say we don't want to trim any scores either, so we'll leave this as 0. We're not going to get rid of any scores before we calculate the mean. So what this translates as in our code is we have the name of the function we're using, mean, and then where we're selecting energy, where we would drag that into an empty space in a dialog box, instead we type the name of the kind of option or the argument, x, the data or the variable, and we put the name of the variable, in this case, energy. Where we want to specify whether or not to remove missing values, instead of ticking a box, we either type true or false. In this case, we type false. In other words, we're not going to check the box. We don't want this to be true. So this is like, false is like unchecking the box. And with trim, we just set the value to be 0, just like if we typed it into here. So there's a kind of direct mapping. Now, actually, all functions have default values. And in the case of mean, the default value for NARM is false, and the default value for trim is 0. So if we just want the default values, just like in a dialog box, we can leave everything as it is. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to tick the NARM box. We just leave it blank. And similarly with our R function, we can just ignore it. We just don't even have to type it. So if we just type this to get the mean of the energy scores, it will use these defaults. We're not going to remove missing values, and we're not going to trim the data. So you only really need to add extra arguments, and you can see I haven't put the x equals in there either, because R will have a pretty good stab at kind of working out what you're trying to do. And because x is the first argument, if you just put in energy, it will assume, oh, you probably wanted to assign that to x. Now, of course, there will be times where you don't want to use the default values, and this is equivalent to making some changes in your dialog box. So again, we've selected our energy value, so our x equals energy hasn't changed. But let's say we did want to remove missing values. In our dialog box, that would be like ticking this box, and the equivalent of doing that in R is to type nar.rm equals true. So instead of leaving the default value, we just change it to true. And similarly, if we wanted to trim off 10% of our scores at the top and bottom, in our dialog box, we would type in 0.1, that's 10% or as a proportion. And if we were typing that in our function, we write trim equals 0.1. So it's really not very different to using a dialog box. It's just you don't have the pretty interface. You have to type things. If you want to tick an option in a dialog box, you just tick it. If you want to change an option in R, you have to give the name of the thing you're changing and then set some kind of instruction. So this is in RStudio, a Quarto document from a previous tutorial. This is where we loaded the data. So we've saved our Spotify data as editib, and we've taken the data from my Discover package. So just a recap, if we execute this and then highlight editib and press command return, we can see we've got a data file with lots and lots of information in. We want to just focus on these energy scores. So this is Spotify's like energy score for every song that Iron Maiden have ever recorded. If you want to calculate what the mean energy score is, we can access these scores by taking our data object editib, using a dollar symbol, and then selecting the energy scores. So if we execute that line of code, these are all our energy scores. So if we want to calculate the mean of them, what we can do is put them in the brackets of the mean function. And strictly speaking, we could put in the name of the argument. So x equals the energy scores from editib. Now, if we just execute this, it gives us the mean. So the energy scores are from 0 to 1, where 1 is sort of the most energetic you could possibly have. So on average, Iron Maiden songs have energy scores of 0.89. I mean, basically 0.9 rounded off. That's very high. Their songs are very energetic. So this has used the default options, so it hasn't trimmed any values or anything like that. So this is exactly equivalent, but quicker to type, it's exactly equivalent to putting in those defaults of NARM equals false and trim equals 0. If we execute that, we'll get exactly the same result. So this is just a quicker way of getting the mean using the default values. But let's say we wanted to trim some values off. We could set the trim to say 0.2. So that's going to get rid of the top and bottom 20% of scores. When the scores are ranked in order. So the top 20% highest scores, top 20% lowest scores will be trimmed. And you can see that value now changes. Well, hopefully you could see that. So it's gone up a bit. It's gone up to 0.92. So let's say we wanted to store the mean energy levels. We could create an object, energy average. And assign the assignment, use the assignment operator to assign that to energy av. So now that's been stored. If we want to view it, we can either look in our environment where now we have this value energy av of basically 0.9, or if we want to see it in our Quarto document, we can highlight it and press return and command at the same time. And if we want to print it into our rendered Quarto document, we could put the name of the object underneath as well. And then when we execute the code, when we render the document, we will get that value printed. Okay, so that's a quick summary of functions and how to use them. Hope it was useful.